What's up, everybody? Clinton Fauché here, and
I'm Albert Chavez.
And this is Front Porch Chronicles, and we have a repeat offender, my brother by another mother, repping St. Louis, now in Las Vegas with Extreme Couture, Mr. Josh AUGGIE Augustine. Thank you so much, brother, for coming on. I know you got a busy schedule.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on. I just appreciate the push.
Yeah, no doubt. And guys, you're going to want to stay tuned because at the end of this one,
we got some great merch coming out.
Mind blown. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be legit. So stay tuned. We got a lot of info coming up on AUGGIE. And at the end, I'm just telling you now, you're going to want to hang around. So
we know you've been put in work lately. We saw you on some really cool clips. How was it training with Aljo and Merab for UFC 300? That was pretty epic.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, those guys are at the top of the food chain. So, you know, I have a lot of friends in the game that aren't like directly, you know, training with them. And like with him having the big fight with Cater coming up, they kind of were like, you know, like almost like fans about it. Like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know if he can handle 145. And I was like, look, I'm telling you. Like, this dude's about to be, if the champ, if not, he's going to be right there fighting for the title once or twice more before his career's over. Like, this dude is a great 145er as well, and he's fitting the mold. And, you know, then they were all like, I don't know. And then obviously we all saw how much he dominated a guy like Cater. And it's like, man, what's next for that guy? And, but yeah, it was incredible just to be a part of training with them. I learned and grew so much just working with them. Merab, I was doing more stuff with Aljo, MMA for his camp. At the beginning of camp. But with Merab, we just happened to train together at 10th Planet Henderson out here. Here and there. We're usually both there on Sundays, and we do the open mat together. But since him and I are like, you know, one of the couple like fighters there, we end up just slapboxing each other most Sundays, and I just try to keep him from wrestling me.
Right.
And then we, you know, we'll roll a little bit, but everyone else we just roll with. But him and I, we kind of just like end up having a bare knuckle MMA fight.
It's funny you say that because I spoke on this when we were leading up to UFC 300. Aljo has always been one of my favorite fighters. And I don't think he's ever gotten the respect. Like, even like when we're talking about, like, people are like, oh, I don't know if he can go to 145. Like, he's always been doubted, and people have never really given him the respect that he deserves. That dude is always been A1.
Well, even more so, he got dropped from the main card too, which was interesting. Like,
so the prelims,
yeah. But you know what? One of the biggest things I respect about him is he doesn't whine and cry about it. He doesn't. He straps up, you know, laces up the gloves, gets back in there, works hard, and puts through. So, you know, Aljo gets and has always gotten mad respect for him. We definitely need to shoot our shot too and try to get him on here.
That'd be epic.
Yeah, I'd
cool.
be down like Leroy Brown. So
yeah, he's cool, man.
Yeah, I know you got a fight coming up, speaking of you, with Samurai MMA in Montreal, Canada, against Alex Morgan. And no, we're not talking about the female soccer player. When it popped up and said Alex Morgan, Albert was like, dude, do you know who Alex Morgan, the female soccer player is? And I'm like, no.
Do you know who that is? She's the U.S.
I didn't
women's
know
national
who she
team.
was until I started looking at this guy.
And when I Googled,
yeah, she's part of like the dream team, like in the early 2000s.
Are you talking about with soccer or looks?
Oh, with soccer right now.
Well, buddy, with looks, she's top 10. She's top 10 on that list. I would say top on that list because she's 10 out of 10. I'm going 20 out of 10. We're going next level. So what are you looking, you know, with that fight coming up? What are you looking to showcase in this fight coming up?
I think that my hands and my speed are going to showcase themselves. I think that I'm going to show the level of striking that I'm at in this fight. And this, this past year and a quarter that I've been out here in Vegas, my grappling has grown a ton. And I think that Extreme Couture is a perfect camp for rounding out your game. So I think that being around a lot of high level guys and having my game so well rounded now at this point, I think that that's going to show itself as the fight goes. Like, I'm going out there and I have a certain game plan that I'm expecting to show, but I think just naturally the fight is going to, with him being such a veteran and me having 10 fights, it's going to be a fight. So once the fight gets going, I think that my game is going to just show how much evolution I've had in so many different areas.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I can just even hear the confidence going. We got the privilege of hearing your story last time when you were on here too, and you said how much Extreme has been a huge part of your journey and making sure that you're surrounded by top tier guys. So I'm sure with training guys like Aljo, Merab, and just getting that consistent grappling, you're going to see it like in June when you fight against Alex Morgan for sure.
100%. And I plan on showing off my stand up though. I plan on, if he gets grappled up, then he might. But I'm going to be trying to really put the hands on him. I think that he shows some holes in his game, and I'm looking to exploit those.
Sweet.
That's exciting. Is this the first time you're going to be traveling up to Canada? I know it's in Montreal.
Yeah, first time in Canada. I'm looking forward to checking out Montreal. It's a pretty cool privilege, to be getting to travel the world doing this thing and, making a little bit of money. Like, it's pretty cool, man. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm interested to go to Canada too.
Right, especially
you guys have never been?
No,
I have never been to Canada.
No, yeah. I've got buddies in Vancouver. I know it's on the opposite side, on the West Coast side, that I'm considering going soon. It's just making the trip up there. It's a different world. I've heard it's fucking cold, but it's beautiful. I've heard. So yeah, with that going on, like, how's training camp going? Can you give a little bit of update? Like, what's what the mindset's going into it?
Just mean and gritty. And I told my son's mother we're staying together right now, and I made her watch Swamp Kings on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I'm from Alabama. I've seen it.
You are okay.
I lived it. I lived it. That was probably one of my cousins, my kinfolks.
That's funny. So I made her watch Swamp Kings, and I made her watch the 2 episodes where the year before they win the national title, and then after they lose it, and like the intensity of the training and the mindset going into we're not going into a football season or like a game or a fucking MMA fight. I'm going in there to train like my fucking life is on the line, because it is. My career, like, if I'm going to make this happen, I need to make it happen now. And to have a fight like this, you can't make any mistakes. You got to be mentally 100% locked in. And that's the whole idea for this camp, is to be mean, fucking gritty. I'm going in there to hurt this motherfucker. I'm going in there to break his jaw, break his eye socket, tear his fucking ribs up, break his knee, do whatever I got to do to make him fucking quit.
It's funny you said, look, it's funny you said Swamp Kings. I don't know. The Florida Gator shirt. I'm a diehard.
I can't see it.
I'm a diehard Florida Gator fan. So when you said Swamp Kings, I thought you were talking about the show where they hunt. But Swamp Kings is Swamp King. Tim Tebow, Brandon Spikes, Brandon James, Percy Harvin, all of those guys. Oh my gosh, that show had me amped. It was like I did meth for 3 days after I watched that show. I was so amped. Yeah,
so good. Yeah, I've watched it a few times now.
Me too. Stylistically, and I don't want you to give up too much, but stylistically, how do you guys match up, or what have you seen stylistically? How you guys are going to go at it?
Oh, he's a fantastic Muay Thai fighter. He has really great kicks, and he puts his punches together. His last fight, he has an incredible highlight reel head kick knockout. Knocks the dude dead, sets it up with his hands perfectly. So he has a lot of great attributes. He's a really good stand-up guy, but I don't think he's as well-rounded as me. I don't think that he hits as hard as me, and I don't think he comes to hurt people. All of his finishes come later in the 3rd, 4th round, other than that last head kick knockout in the first. But a lot of his finishes come later. He likes to build steam and get going as the fight goes. All my finishes are in the 1st and 2nd round. all my finishes are early. I go
All
out
gas,
there.
no brakes.
The second I walk in that cage, I'm looking to get you out of there. I want you out as soon as possible. And I'm not going to go at it with reckless abandon by any means. I've never done that in any of my fights. I'm going to be very methodical and smart. But as soon as that ref says go, I'm coming for him. And
All gas, no brakes.
Well, I
all
feel like you
gas,
have
no brakes. That's been the motto. That was the motto on the first shirt, and that's going to continue. You know, that's kind of where I just see my advantages at this point in my career. I think that I need to use the youth as my friend. I have the speed advantage. I should have the strength advantage. I'm going to be more physical. I'm going to be faster, stronger, taller. So I really need to use those. And I'm not going to let him get comfortable and get going. No, fuck that. He's going to get hurt right out of the go. And I'm going to earn my UFC contract.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you have anybody in your gym that you're using that resembles his game?
We have so many guys, man.
That's one of the great things about Extreme Couture. You got so many different well-rounded guys. It's got to be a big advantage.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the main guys I've been going with is Marion Santos. He's supposed to be on the Ultimate Fighter this year, Brazilian kid. Super skilled Muay Thai, and I think he actually has better grappling than Morgan. He has a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's, you know, I think he's had like 13 pro MMA fights, so he's got pretty decent wrestling and stuff too. So he's a good partner. Julian Arosa, another really awesome partner for me to go with. One guy you're probably not familiar with, he's still coming up. His name's Abijah Kaleo. Hawaiian kid. His fucking stand-up is so good, man. So having to work with these guys and set my rounds up. Arthur Duflo, he's a Frenchman, right-hander, stiff jab. You know, he's got a lot of. I have so many guys that are around his height and size, body frame, and can emulate the style. I feel like this is about to be one of the best camps that I've ever had. I'm bringing in Anthony Njokwani. Anthony Njokwani is going to be helping me out with this camp as well. He's a Muay Thai world champion. And then him and Biagio Ali Walsh. I mean, I got a good list of guys that are all right around that body.
I can feel, not that you never lacked, but I can feel the swagger and the confidence and the involvement of you.
Even just in the last few months, like just the aura, the mental focus that you have right now is like, okay, I'm going to war right now. You know? And I think there's something too that you might want to touch on too is respecting your opponent, but not over respecting your opponent. You know, understanding that they too are a professional, but not giving them all that satisfaction of taking over that mindset. And that's cool to see.
Oh, I'm fully aware of him having 10 more fights than me. It's nothing to sleep on. It's nothing to put away. And I'm fully, whenever I sign that contract, I'm fully accepting the fact he might knock me the fuck out in front of all my family and friends on UFC Fight Pass and set my career back another year or two. But that is what it is. If you're going to take a dangerous fight and you're going to take a hard fight and a fight against the number one guy in Canada, like it's not all sunshine and rainbows, fucking sushi rolls and strippers. Like, you know, it's a fucking battle, and there's two sides of the coin. Yeah, hopefully I go out there and clip him in 10 seconds and he goes to sleep. But I'm expecting 15 minutes of a dogfight. I think that he took this fight thinking that it's going to be a little bit easier because I have less fights than him. My fights go kind of quick. He's seen some fights where there have been some obvious holes in my game. But the past year and a half, I've closed a lot of those holes. And the past year and a half, I've been working with the best people in the world. And I know where my game's at now. And I'm accepting of the challenge of going into his hometown, into another country, into his backyard, and against a super skilled guy. He's not going to go lay down for me, just like I'm not going to go lay down for him. And he's got his skill set and I got mine. So, you know, it's almost kind of feels like this could be like my UFC debut kind of type fight, just because of the level of opponent and, you know, going into unfamiliar territory, uncharted waters.
I love that mindset. I love that mindset.
And that's what's going to earn me this UFC contract, not beating up these 4-0, 5-0 guys and like kind of beating guys that I should beat or like old washed up veterans. I need to beat a guy like this. Not only do I need to beat a guy like this for my resume, but for myself. for whenever I step into the octagon and the UFC, and I know I fucking belong there. Not, oh man, I hope this goes well. Oh, no, I already beat that Muay Thai world champion. I already know I can go with 5 rounds with Julian Erosa if need be. It'll suck, but I know I can get through a lot of shit. You know, so that's what I look forward to in this fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like the ultra confidence or anything. I know that I have to execute my game plan, or it could be a really short, fucked up trip to Montreal. But if I go out and execute appropriately, and I stay calm and cool and collected, and I do the things that I've been training with Dennis Davis and Danny D1 and Eric Nixick, then I know that I have the abilities to come out on top and really show my athletic ability and my worth of being in the UFC, the reason that they would want to bring me in.
I'm calling the dub now. I mean, you got me. If not just because you're my boy, but I'm telling you now, like I don't think you even like. If you've ever seen the movie with Bruce Leroy, like you got the shine and you got the glow right now, and like, bro, I'm willing to sign away the house, bet the house, and everything on you right now. You got me look hard over here thumping. I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and go train. I'm like, Let's go. Guy. Yeah, Let's brother.
Go.
So leading up to the fight, is there anything that you do, certain rituals that you do to mentally get focused, either day of, week of, to get you prepped to get into that octagon?
Now I'm just trying to do what is it? It's called biohacks for before training. That way I, hit a certain do a few breathing patterns that I'm gonna do the day of the fight, and that way I'm just like, turning myself on, turning the outside noise off, and just I'm keeping it really simple, do a few meditations here and there. But honestly, the biggest thing is just keeping my feet in my shoes, not thinking about what opportunities come from this fight, but just focusing on being present every single day and making the most of 5 minutes with my son in between training, making the most of every training session, making sure whenever there's 10 seconds left, I'm fucking digging for that last inch versus like, oh, I coasted through it. Like, I want to make the most of this opportunity. So for this next 5-6 weeks, everything's going to be about being present, being locked in, and just squeezing the juice of every moment that I have.
Fuck yeah, dude, I love it. I think I know what the next question is, but I was just curious, like throughout the whole fight camp, you have like weight cuts, all the sparring sessions, the grueling sweat and blood and tears that you do. What drives Auggie to maintain that focus?
Honestly, it's my kid, bro. It's like, I got to change my life. I want to give him an amazing life, and I know that I have the ability to do it, or else I would just do something else. But I know that I can get something through this, and it's very meaningful to me to show him that you can accomplish your dreams and do whatever you want in life. And with having him here in Vegas with me, and like whether I bring money home or I don't is like if he eats or not. So like that is the ultimate driving force. I don't think that I could be as focused if I didn't have him out here. But yeah, that's really the number one thing, other than just I have so much love and respect for the game, and it's always been a dream of mine to be a world champion. So obviously, you got to win fights like this to become that. So you have to. And so that it falls so short and secondary to the fact that this is how I'm going to get to the UFC, and this is how I'm going to make bigger paychecks, and that's how I'm going to pay my bills.
Well, I'll tell you this. I follow you and kind of keep up with, whether you know it or not, the amount of love and attention that you give your son, to me, is so respectful. And it's kind of like how we talked about earlier about people taking care of people for the love of the person, not just the fighter. But the amount of love and attention and nurturing that you give him on a deeper level, you can see that. And it's one of many reasons, I respect Auggie the fighter and love Auggie the fighter, but the man that you are and the father that you are, for me, just to tell you straight up, I respect the hell out of that more than anything else. And it's why you'll always have me on your squad. So
thank you, bro. Well, I feel the same way about you.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I guess it's just kind of turning 30 and you get a little more wise when you get a little older and you get a greater perspective on things, but fighting doesn't mean shit, man. Like, it does. Like, I love it, and I want to be great, and I want to be a world champion. I want to make all the money and fucking be in Roadhouse and all the shit. Like, like we all want that. You know what I mean? We want everything perfect. But like, man, all you have at the end of the day is your family. All you have at the people. End of the day. And whether this works out or it doesn't, like, I don't want my son to think I'm a piece of shit whenever he's at my funeral. Like, I want him to respect me and love me. Like, I can remember at my father's funeral, man, so many people came up to me and told me how much they respected my dad and why they respected him. And they shook my hand and hugged me and told me how much they loved me if I ever needed anything. And that meant so much to me. I saw how much he affected other people's lives in such a positive way. And that kind of shifted my perspective on what's important and what's not. And like I said, we want to accomplish all of our goals, and it doesn't make me less goal driven or anything, but it does make me focus on taking that extra 5 minutes whenever I'm at home, or just trying not to get too pissed off when the gallon of milk hits the floor. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, like, just trying to be there for him and just be the best dad and just the best person I can be, honestly, like 24 hours a day for like anyone, whether it's my friend, some dude I'm driving by on the street, like some homeless dude, whatever I can do. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I just want to be that person.
Yeah, I think sometimes we get too focused in on what we're trying to do on the grander scale. We forget about those small moments too. And it's like so easy to get, like you said, pissed off at like the gallon of milk that you drop, someone cutting you off, and it's just like, whoa, what am I actually mad at? Like, let's take a step back. We're good. We're in good health, and just be grateful for what we have.
100%.
The people you got. Yeah,
so 100%. And I fell victim to that for years. Like, I let my thought of my outside image, like how I was being projected, affect how I felt about myself and who I was so much for such a long period of time that after you lose someone really close to you, I think that really that's one of many things that can open your eyes and show you, like, man, none of that means fucking anything. Like, yeah, if someone is a fan of what you're doing or whatever, yeah, it's cool. It's cool that you're making some noise and like, you just be cool with them. But it doesn't mean shit. It really doesn't. What means shit is who you're affecting in your life and how you're interacting with them, and if you're taking care of your family and doing the right things.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things for me is kind of the same way with you. Being a slave to that anxiety of wondering and caring what other people thought. And it was once I let go of that, I learned to be my authentic self, and I learned to take care of the people that I know genuinely need it, because sometimes we get caught up in self perspective and we don't think about checking in on our friends that might be having a bad day or going through a bad season or a bad time. We only check with them when they go through the divorce, but we don't say, hey man, like, deeper level, is there something? It's kind of like we talked about with the management company. That's what I wanted to create, is like a brotherhood and sisterhood where we don't just take care of each other financially, or we don't just fight, but like, we take care of each other as people. And when you have that, man, it makes the world so much better, and it makes your peace of mind so much easier to live with. So,
well, it's all about who you surround yourself with, right? And so whenever you're surrounding yourself with solid people and people you can trust, people that have your back, you feel that security. You feel like you have, like, someone has your back.
Since I last talked to you, I opened up 3027 promotion. So we signed Hoffa. We're fixing to sign the girl we'll have on, Nicole. She's an Ami. She's only had one fight, but she's like nasty. She's from Norway, so she's going to be going over to Germany.
You're able to produce your own guys. You're able to build them from the bottom all the way up to the UFC, basically. And then at that point, then that's where you get your return at. That's honestly the best way to do it, because you're covering all bases versus just investing in a guy.
Well, and it's kind of like what I was telling you before. What we're going to do from the management side of it is to make them not slaves to the system. I'm going to be setting up with them also investment properties, stuff like that, so that they
making money too.
So they have residual income coming in. You know what I mean? You get a fight check, you know, UFC, you get a fight check, you know, you can throw $100K. In Alabama, I can buy you 1 to 2 Section 8 houses. You got an extra $3,000 to $5,000 coming in per month. Right. You know, that's $60K.
Versus I mean, blowing that fucking money.
Well, that, or you blow that money, or, you know, you have to pay this and you have to pay that. And you look at the bank account and you're like, it's empty. So now I've got to take a fight when I'm not at peak performance, when I'm not. That's bigger than that. Is I want to look out for the fighters so that they're not having to fight in compromised positions, so that way they're more apt to get W's, because they're not worried about fighting for money. They're not worried about getting a torn knee, torn worse, broken hand, broke worse. They don't have to fight compromise. They can fight at 100% peak, not having to stress about anything but making sure they make weight. And then we got nutritionists for that. Exactly. And so for me, from a management standpoint of, it's one of those things, you take care of your people and they're in turn going to take care of you. So that's where I want to be a helping hand from them from the bottom up, not where most management companies and whatever, they make you prove that you're worthy of them. I want to make people that are worthy from down here come all the way up. And so started from the bottom, now we're here. I'm going to be here from the mud to when we get there, not just when we get there.
You're bringing the Southern hospitality and MMA, man. That is some G shit right there. That is, you know, you see, like, I'm with Iridium, you see, like, Ali, like, all those guys, like, that's kind of what you're talking about. Like, yeah, they'll invest in you if they believe in you after you've established a reason for them to believe in you. You guys kind of like, okay, we believe in you and we're going to show you that we believe in you. Boom,
or if you fit their narrative. And so that's where, again, I believe in taking care of people, and I'm very brutally honest. So I have had people that reached out to me and said, hey, we would like to look at you managing us. And to be honest, I said, hey, man, look, I love you. You're a great guy, right? And I think you can do really big things, but you're no more than an LFA lifetime fighter. You just don't have the tools or the skills. So that's where also I'm going to be brutally honest with people, because I don't want, you know, I don't think it's fair to string people along and I'm just going to be creating fights for you so that I can get a little, you know, a little money off the side.
Extra 10%.
Yeah, bro, I would rather say, hey, you know what, man, this is what you're going to be relegated to. I love you. And if you find somebody that can tool you to get to that, I'm with it. But at the end of the day, that's kind of what you're relegated. But the people that, you know, are blood, sweat, and tears, I'm down to blood, sweat, and tears too. And that's where, from the management side of it and from the business side of it, and I understand it's a business, but I think the fighters put way too much on the line and they have to sacrifice way too much to get to a point where people put out a helping hand only when it's going to help them.
And in such a short window by the time you get to that point to the end, and then it's just over.
Well, and then let me tell you this. Guess what they do when you can't make them any money anymore?
They bounce to the next person. Yeah.
I'm going to be the guy that keeps up with you after your career is over and done, that's going to make sure you keep rental properties. Hey, it's a brotherhood with me. And so I could have went and signed 50 fighters. I had people reach out. We have 5 fighters that we've signed so far that I don't have to worry about going anywhere. They're not trying. And I don't want to get this huge, rather than having 100 fighters that I don't, know anything about. I don't know about their mental health. I don't know about their financial problems. I don't know about their health problems. I would much rather narrow that down to 20 to 25 guys that we ride or die together from the mud all the way up rather than signing 100 fighters and just collecting checks. I want a brotherhood. Yeah, bro, that's I want a brotherhood, not just making money off of people.
It's definitely the first I've ever heard of this. Like, this is coming from a really genuine space. And it's funny that you said guys that I know aren't going to go anywhere. Because the first thing that I was thinking whenever you were saying all this was like, well, what happens whenever, like, because you're obviously investing a lot into this. So then what happens whenever someone just says, oh, Ali's ready to sign me. I'm going to go. I got to do what's best for me and my family, and then it's like that attitude sort of changes a bit. Or I could see how it would change a bit if it were me. But yeah, if you have the right people and like who they are, then that also changes that variable a bit.
And that's why I say you narrow it down to who the people are rather than who the fighter is. Because to me, I want to help the people, not just the fighter. I want to help the people. And that to me is a bigger thing. I see the system is broken. I've seen fighters, and I'm not going to call any names. I know a fighter that told me that his manager didn't even know that he had a fight lined up. Like, bro, how are you collecting 10%? How are you collecting 10%? He negotiated his own contract. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's not right. And when I saw the system was broken, that's when I went to my business partner and I said, hey, man, I want to create something different. I want to create something that's not been done. I want to create something so authentic and real that I don't have to worry about people going and signing with who they deem is the big guy, because we're going to become the big guy by taking care of the people. When you look at kings, queens, all of those people that were successful in the last, they took care of the people. And that's what I want to create, a village of brotherhood and sisterhood to where we dominate the game, on a personal level and on a fight level.
Yeah, that's badass. Well, the results will come within taking care of the people.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's
really
that's
cool. Sorry for asking all those questions. That's just
no, bro.
Shit, man.
No, I love. Well, and to be honest, we have people on here, and you kind of talked about like that. It's the same thing with this podcast. I take on people. I don't just shoot my shot or have people on here that I don't research. We research people. We look at who the people are. We take on people who are genuine people. And that's what this podcast is about not just you guys as fighters, but you guys as human beings and people that are in a career that is very hard and complex, to let people know you are human. You got kids, you do all of these things. So it's a bigger thing to it than just, hey, these guys are fighters and this is cool. They do this, this, and this. No, this guy is a good guy. I would go to war with this guy in the octagon or on the streets, wherever we are. All right, so we're going to jump into, we got something new that we started doing since you came on last time. We're going to do rapid fire questions. And what we're going to do is ask you a series of about 6 questions. First person that pops into your head. Okay. Ready? All righty.
Who was Josh Augustine's favorite fighter growing up?
First person that jumps in my head is Connor, but as a kid, it would have been Roy Jones.
Ooh, those are good. We just had somebody on from P-Cola too. P-Cola, stand up. What fighter have you trained with or fought that hit the hardest?
Ooh, good question. Probably Khurshid Karakov. He's a PFL European guy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. Got fucking bricks in his hands or something.
What fighter would you want to be friends with outside the octagon?
John Jones.
Ooh, me too. Who would you most want to fight if they said you could fight anybody in the UFC right now?
Conor McGregor. Yeah. Come on, baby. Red panty night.
Shout out Dana. And then who are your top 5 fighters of UFC all time?
Ooh, man, great question. This one's tough.
We know
Fuck,
John Jones.
I'm a fanboy. Yeah, John Jones.
I am too.
GSP, Anderson Silva. I'm old school. I think you got to throw. Fuck, this is hard, man. You got to throw. I think you got to throw Max and Vulcan there too.
All right, so last one. If there was a zombie apocalypse, Walking Dead style, what one UFC fighter would you want on your side?
I think that's easy. That's Brock Lesnar.
Oh,
okay. That's actually, yeah, I didn't even think about that one. Yeah.
A vanilla gorilla?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that one.
I did not think
Strap him up Rambo style.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm making a saddle on his back. I'm riding him like a backpack, bro. I'm getting, you know how they wear the kids on the backpack in the front, bro? I'm riding the backpack in the back to make sure I don't get nibbled on. And I'm turning the back way so I can get his 6.
Yeah, I like that.
Unstoppable.
Yeah. All right. So we'll wrap it up. Apart from your reputation as a fighter, we know you're a beast. What quality do you want people to recognize or to know about Auggie as the man?
Ooh, it's a great question. Just resiliency, man. Resiliency, just fighting for what you believe in, what you love, and the people you love, and doing whatever you got to do by any means necessary to provide for your people, man. Do what you got to do.
Love it.
Yeah,
and just being an authentic, good person. That's what I'll say. When I say about you, like when people are like, oh, solid guy. Like there's just certain people that like, and that's low key. That's, you said you pick your circle, and that's like when they ask about, I'm like, solid guy. Like that's, for me, that's what I have to have. I can't have no sometimesies.
Well, and even going back again, your travels from St. Louis all the way here, it's always been about resiliency. You talked about your mismanagement of the managers that you had previously, and now you decided to take a leap of faith and be like, nah, dude, I need to handle my shit and go with legit killers. And now you're training with them, and now you're like, okay, I got to take this next step and take a chance. Like you said, it's like a UFC career right now about to start. And so it's always been about resiliency. It's always been about taking that uncomfortable step that you need to do, not just for yourself, but for people around you, for your son, and just be the man that you want to be. So it's cool. Thank you for showing us.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys.
Thank you for having me on and representing.
You're welcome. So to cap it off, I know we talked about this earlier. I'm super stoked about getting some of this new merch coming out. You want to tell us a little bit about it, and then we can drop a link down below for everybody to get in on it while it's hot.
Yeah, I just got a dope little shirt coming out. It's like
Sweet.
that new summer swag, that oversized shirt. Just something for people to represent, you know, especially back in St. Louis. Get your Auggie merch. Just a little nice Auggie shirt, couple cool pics on there, me kicking some ass and looking shredded. And you know, I'm planning on having a few different watch parties, one here in Vegas and then one in St. Louis. So you guys could just rep the merch, come out to the watch parties, and just turn up for the fight, baby. Because I'm gonna have a few people there recording, and I want to see people going crazy. I don't want to see you guys. I want to see you guys tore up. I want to see somebody's shirt off, or like a shirt with the sleeve.
You want the mullet, and I can go full Superman with the shirt.
No, cut that V right there. Cut that little V right there. I don't care if I'm missing my head. Cut that.
So definitely get us the information. We've been talking about having a trip over to Vegas anyway. So what we'll do is we'll come over for the watch party and extend it out a week. So that way we can have some signs for you whenever you fly back in at the airport and show you some love.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, we can get some food. That sounds awesome.
And we'll drop that link down below for everybody.
You're not going to want to miss it at all. It's limited quantity. So please go get it before it's too late.
We'll have ours in the next couple of weeks, so we'll be flossing on y'all. We're getting it hot off the press. Don't be salty, but there's levels to the game. So we're getting it hot off the press. Thank you so much, Auggie. You know we love you, man. If you ever need anything from us, we are most certainly here. Let us know about the watch party in Vegas. We would definitely take you up on that and be there. I'll even go full Hulkamaniac, ripping the shirt off.
Please.
Guys, tune in. And if you don't already, we're also going to drop his Instagram down below. Go follow Auggie, the man, the myth, the legend. He's super solid fighter and even more super solid guy.
Thank you guys
brother.
for having me on. I appreciate you guys.
Brother. Yeah, thank you.